A CEO is spending more than $2,000 a month on ChatGPT Plus accounts for all of his employees, and he says it's saving hours of time. I've got another really interesting article we're going to look over and talk about today, following up with more ChatGPT stuff that's going on in the market. It's insane, but here is a photo of the CEO for this organization. He says he's spending thousands each month buying ChatGPT Plus accounts for every single employee at his company, and he says he's already seen gains. The founder of Genies, the $1 billion avatar tools company used by celebrities like Justin Bieber and Cardi B, is spending $2,400 a month on ChatGPT Plus accounts for all of his 120 employees as part of an experiment to boost productivity and save money. Insider verified the purchase of the accounts with a receipt. So this is a $1 billion evaluation. When you click on their thing here, this is the article it takes you to. It's an avatar startup. Genies hits $1 billion evaluation. So it's not saying they're actually making $1 billion. There's a very big difference between that. It's an evaluation raised in some seed rounds and raising capital for their company. But it's basically a unicorn startup that offers NFT accessories to, I guess, celebrities, and I'm sure other people too of high profile. So we're entering into a world where we're talking about a company that most people don't even understand what they do, using a tool that most people don't even understand what it does. So this is an interesting article, and I'm excited, to say the least, just to look at this. So in March, he started encouraging every team, research and development, engineering, product, finance, design, and accounting, to learn how to use the AI chatbot to automate regular tasks. Despite the investment, he believes that the integration of ChatGPT into his team's workflows will improve the company's bottom line. So I guess there's still, it's only 1 month in. Obviously, everyone's excited. This is like clickbait, click generating news. And so they just jumped on top of this. But he says he's already seeing the benefit of doing this and using it as a company-wide tool. And it affects everything, which is interesting to say the least. Most people are scrubbing off ChatGPT news because they hear about the coding and the programmers using it to debug code and all that kind of stuff. But this thing goes much deeper and is just infiltrating the company in so many different levels. It's insane to see what's going on. So, and here he actually gives some examples, but he said that ChatGPT has been most helpful in creating a technical roadmap or an outline that lays out a company's strategy around releasing a new product. The process of making a plan, he said, would normally require hours and hours of manual brainstorming among colleagues. Instead, he fed ChatGPT all the information needed in the plan, then asked the AI to organize it in a chart and delegate the tasks to the right teams. That's insane. Here, this is the part here that I actually skipped over this paragraph, which is really interesting. But he talks about how he's, a frugal person, but while he's only been a month, his employees have had their accounts. He says he's already seen many tasks get accelerated. His R&D team, research and development, for instance, has used ChatGPT to answer math and coding questions, get advice on how to debug code, and generate scripts for presentation-based outlines. Now that is the basics. That's what we've been hearing from a lot of people, but this is where it gets even crazier. He said other employees have used it to generate creative briefs, write legal documents like internal policies, and answer technical questions. So even what's crazy is this stuff gets even bigger, because it's like, okay, so you would naturally say the programmers, all those guys, are using it in their work and in their departments, and that's all it's ever going to be. Yet here I am, I kind of have functioned before in this HR role, and I'm thinking, man, this thing, they're using it to write legal documents and internal policies. So you're saying like they're feeding in, like, let's say I had to create an employee handbook for the company and I had evaluations, that I had specific evaluations there in there, like our PTO process, our disciplinary actions process, our time off request process, our social media guidelines, all these things that typically you would find in a typical employee handbook nowadays. You would feed that basic data into the employee handbook, and I think this thing could generate and is pumping out employee handbooks, or at least pages of it. At least you could say, like, if you're building an employee handbook, you ask it to generate, hey, I need you to generate our PTO process and outline a PTO process that is legal, and then also protects the company, while at the same time offering standard PTO practices for the employee. I think that thing is pumping it out. That is insane. I mean, that is insane. That takes over so many jobs, as far as so many tasks, as far as starting a company like that from the ground up, building out processes and systems for staff, and having to generate all that documentation. That's stuff that most executives don't want to deal with. They don't want to mess with it, and so they bring on someone like a chief HR officer, or some sort of HR director, or someone who comes in that role. It could even sometimes be the chief executive officer, or not chief executive officer, chief operations officer. There you go, or COO. But they. I can't even talk this morning. Sorry. So they bring someone in like that would generate those documents, and to think that person now could build that thing out. I mean, probably at least, I don't know if you could ask it to build out an entire employee handbook and be successful in it, but you could at least do it within an hour if you're building out pages at a time. I mean, that's insane. That is crazy. And here's his comment on it. It's almost like you have the most sophisticated operating partner at your disposal that's able to quickly center your thoughts and ensure that you're consistently on track, he said. And then here's the part where it gets scary. He believes that the bot may be able to help his company reduce costs, as it will need to hire fewer employees overall. And that's where it gets challenging and scary. So what is this looking like? I think that this is the early development into what it's going to look like when companies start embracing this kind of tech, and people start realizing what you can do with this thing, and understand that it's not, and this is where it's not plagiarizing. It's not doing that. It is generating content based on research and evaluation of data collected, throughout all of, I guess time, which you would say, or, data on the internet. And so it's not like creating something or copying something. It's not copying something, that's already been written. It's reading that and redeveloping it and making it into its own document. And so you're like, people don't understand the power that you have with that. Now, is it scary? It is absolutely scary. I mean, there's a lot of red flags there. And so what do? You're in this situation where it's like, if companies start doing this, they need to hire fewer employees, and they're looking for staff members that understand and know how to use this tool, because it's going to make you so much more efficient at your job. Then you're kind of in this catch-22, because can this be abused? It absolutely can, but you're going to get to a point, though. I mean, right now you've got these really, really tech integrated companies. I mean, this company in and of itself is a tech company that's using this, but how much longer will it be before you have construction companies using this for their document creation? Before you have, that normal company that's not on a Silicon Valley basis, that doesn't have $1 billion valuation, using these documents. I mean, I know so many people that could use a document and use the AI itself just to generate legal documents for them. That's insane. In one recent video, I talked about, and I think I did it on the video, where I put in like a paragraph or two into the thing and kind of used it in this like Grammarly type function, where I asked it to reword it, what I wrote, to read at a university level. And it did it within seconds. It wasn't like Grammarly where you scan it and you have to, rewrite it yourself. It makes suggestions. Like, it just did it. It took my essay, reworded it within seconds, and it was reading at a university grade level. So, it's crazy. it's crazy what this thing can do. So let's see. It says it's boosted productivity, though some workers aren't using it. So he said, while a majority of employees are diving in headfirst with ChatGPT, there's a small fraction of people who are passively integrating it into their workflows, whether that's due to lack of time or care. He's been holding informal workshops where the employees who are really obsessed and learning it leaning into ChatGPT teach coworkers with less experience how to use the AI to perform specific tasks across teams. So he's got workshops happening in the organization to teach these people how to use it. That's how much he believes in this tool. And he believes that everybody at his company must be committed to using ChatGPT for the company to reap the benefits of reduced workloads and headcount. You really got to find time to learn this skill because it's going to be really important moving forward. He even plans on making ChatGPT usage a part of his employees' performance reviews next year. Part of the reviews, he said, will look at how his employees use tools like ChatGPT to effectively accelerate their departments. The employees that are using AI effectively will be up for promotion and raise. The ones who aren't will fall behind. Oh, man. It isn't the only company incorporating ChatGPT into its workflow. We have Amazon employees are using it to develop code, answer customer questions, and write training documents. So they're writing training documents with it. The CEO of Pure Fusion Media, a design firm, said ChatGPT saved him more than 30 hours of work in 1 week. Even Microsoft is letting employees use ChatGPT as long as they don't share confidential information with the tool. Man, that is crazy. So you're already seeing this kind of take place. I mean, it's nothing unheard of. It's nothing new. You have a tech company that is using new tech before anybody else is really integrating it. I mean, obviously you have these other big guys using it, but once again, it's all tech-based companies that are embracing this first. What does this mean? Does it mean that is it just a fad? Will it fade away? I don't think so. I really don't. I think it's going to take time. But over time, I think more and more organizations are going to realize the tool that they have. I can't say that I know of like organizations that are done to this level, but I do know of staff within the organization, including staff on executive levels, that have utilized or have started utilizing ChatGPT for their work, and they are using it almost every day, and almost in the same way with the training documents and the legal documents. The sad part is that yes, this will lead to a little bit of a loss of jobs. Jobs will go to the wayside because, I think like especially on a startup basis, the way I cut my teeth in the world of kind of this HR stuff and all and the things you need to kind of learn to do all this kind of stuff. I didn't take a course on it and do anything. I was literally part of a startup, and I was forced to learn all this stuff and wrap my head around it on my own. And I was a self learner. In a world like that, you wouldn't need a guy like me on your executive team in that startup, because you could generate all this documentation to get you off the ground. Probably run it by a lawyer, and then boom, you're good to go. Until a certain level, I think you would need someone to oversee it. But at that certain level that you would reach, where you'd hire on a person like that to oversee that stuff, then you would probably just have them using the software. I mean, it's generating training documents. So I imagine they're probably inputting the data into the software, and they're saying, hey, I need a training document that shows how to do X, Y, Z, and that thing is just spitting out full-fledged training documents for the organization within seconds. It's crazy. So it's sad, and it's also like, it's a great tool. You have to acknowledge that. And what do you do is, as this starts to become more and more integrated into the market, and more organizations realize the power of it, I think we're going to see this. I mean, I think this could take years. Typically, Silicon Valley type organizations, and I'm not even saying this is in Silicon Valley, but you get what I'm saying. I'm just using it as a derogatory term, but those kind of companies, these tech companies, they're the first ones to embrace stuff like this, and then it takes years and years and years for it to bleed into the actual marketplace. Or like some people said, it could be that it's a fad and it fades out, or something horrible is revealed. I mean, I think this is interesting. Even Microsoft is letting employees use it as long as they don't share confidential information with the tool. So that's pretty interesting. So I wonder what's going on there. What does Microsoft know? They're not letting their company share the confidential info. I mean, it could be typical run-of-the-mill practice, but what do you guys think? I mean, do you think you would ever, are you using this stuff at all for your work? If you're not using it, do you think you would ever be willing to use it? Do you see this stuff eventually bleeding out into the market in almost every company, or not every company, but normal run-of-the-mill companies that are not tech companies like this? Do you see them embracing it and using it? I'm curious to know if anyone is seeing this in their neck of the woods and what they're experiencing. So thank you guys for watching. Please take the time to comment below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really helps the channel. Thank you for all your support. We are growing, and I'm very, very appreciative of you guys being on board with that. I will catch you guys in the next one.